The Sunshine State has welcomed 25 of the world's strongest men to its shores. And the good news is that after all the heats, it's turned out very nice for us indeed. 3 of the 10 men set to sweat in the grand final are Brits, Luke and Tom Stoltman and Adam Bishop. But against them, a field that includes Lissis, Kilifskoski, 4-time winner Brian Shaw and the reigning champion, Thor. 10 men, 1 dream. It's the ultimate strongman showdown.
This year's grand final sees a constellation of 10 strength stars, all with the same dream of becoming the world's strongest man. The 10 worlds will now collide as the Titans journey towards the ultimate display of power. The defending champion hails from a land of fire and ice. Iceland's Hafthor Julius Bjornsson aims to eclipse his rivals and win his 2nd title. American supergiants aim to expand the boundary of what's possible. Brian Shaw is targeting a record-equalling title number 5. And Martins Licis is looking to make the biggest impact of his life. This year has seen the birth of new stars. The Stoltmans, the first brothers in history to reach the final 10. Adam Bishop, his childhood dream, now his reality. 3 Britons moving forward together into unknown territory. But the stars will be aligned for only one, and only he will be crowned the world's strongest man.
Well, Eddie Hall, it's typical, isn't it? You wait a whole year to get a Brit in the final, and then 3 come along at once. What do you think about their chances?
Oh, really good. Bish is looking strong, so's Luke. But Tom, he's got to be my favourite. He's 6 foot 9 inches tall. He's young. He's hungry. He's definitely a future champion in my eyes.
He's got the gene.
Oh, yeah.
Right, we've got 2 established winners here as well in 4-time champion Brian Shaw and, of course, Hafthor, the reigning champ. Who's the pressure on most, do you think?
Oh, definitely 4. When you're at the top of the game, top of that mountain, as they say, you've got all these hungry wolves wanting to knock you down, so all the pressure's on 4 for sure.
Brilliant. 10 men then, 5 massive tasks between them and the prize. Let's get over to Michelle at the starting line and get loaded.
Cheers, guys. Well, it is not going to be easy on the beach for our strongmen today as we are kicking off the grand final with the loading race. We've got 4 implements. Our athletes are going to have to carry them along and load them on the plinth. So strength, speed and stamina is of paramount importance. Now, as we know, we've got 3 Brits in the final, Adam Bishop and the Stoltman brothers. Firstly, Bish, what does it mean to you to be here today?
Yeah, it means a lot. Obviously, with the heartbreak of last year not getting through to the final, it's fantastic. But we've got 5 more events today, so it's kind of reset and go again.
Well, all the best of luck. And guys, brothers standing side by side, what does this mean going into the final?
Again, yeah, it's incredible, you know, to have, I think, the first time in history 2 brothers, and now Bish is an honorary Stoltman brother now as well. We've been competing for many years now, and this is the pinnacle for us to get the top 10 in the world, and I think we've very well deserved this position that we're in now, and let's just take today and see how it goes.
It's a really special day. We'll be watching you all. Best of luck. Over to our commentators, Colin Bryce and Danny Wallace.
Well, thanks, Michelle. And this is why we're here. It is the final, the grand final, and it's the loading race. There's a barrel, an anvil, and a couple of sacks to be carried 12 metres.
Representing the United States,
And here's who's up first. Trey Mitchell III. Came from the grassroots, came almost from nowhere. Blazed his way through Heat 5. And qualified from there. This was the moment. This was in last man standing when he was up against the Ukrainian Novikov. And this is the moment where Mitchell knew that he was coming here. Such an exciting contender. And he's up against the Highland Oak himself.
Stoltman.
The first of our 2 Stoltman brothers from Scotland. Qualified from Heat 1. And he did it by taking on and beating this man, the American Rob Kearney, in the last man standing. It was an emotional win, a well-deserved win, one he'd been waiting for, and one he dedicated to his mum.
I love you, Mum.
So here he is.
Ready?
So Stoltman, closest to camera, gets underway with the barrel. So too the big Texan, but at the moment it is Luke Stoltman who's on to this anvil. 140 kilos, and he whips it off the ground like nothing.
Well, last year, you'll remember, the anvil proved a bone of contention. Lissis really struggled with it. Not so Stoltman.
Now then, the sacks. I think these are actually the hardest. They're all dead weight, hard to grip onto them. And in this soft sand, they'll be getting very tired.
We're to 35 seconds now, out of a possible 75. Up goes the next one with Stoltman.
Gasping for breath. He wants to get this on in one hit. Hands off.
Takes his hands off. That's a good time for Scotland's Luke Stoltman. And Trey Mitchell III manages 52.96 seconds. A good start from both men.
Representing the United
Stoltman's
States,
dad.
Trey Mitchell.
And a good showing from Mitchell there.
I think he'll be pretty pleased with that. This man's very quick at loading.
Stoltman.
47.42 for the first of our Stolt men.
Well, this opening pair have really set the pace in the grand final. Luke Stoltman, he'll be hard to beat with that time.
Representing Great Britain.
So another Brit now.
Adam Bishop.
Adam Bishop, just been getting bigger and better year after year. Of course, last year, well, it was a tough one for him. Went through a bit of a disaster. But this was the moment he realised that's all in the past.
Representing Canada, JF Caron.
So the Canadian, Caron. Now, he's made it to the grand final 7 times. And in the last 3 years alone, placed 5th in those finals. But, you know, that's not good enough for this guy.
Ready?
Canada closest to camera. Caron gets underway a little bit quicker than Bishop for Britain on the far side. The Harlequins' strength and conditioning coach has his day job and will test his conditioning here. That was a fluff.
Well, this anvil, so heavy, so cumbersome, could be the undoing of some of our contenders today.
As you said, it did Lissa's last year, and it's caused Bishop a bit of a trip at the moment. Now, Caron is pretty good at loading. We can remember Luke Stoltman's time, 47.42, is what Caron is chasing. Can Bishop do some catch-up here?
Well, Caron struggling now. Hands off. Well, what was that? That was very close. And Bishop
It's low. Come on, Bish.
gets it on there. Hands off. 55.39 for Bishop. But what about Caron's time?
Hard to say how much Bishop lost there. 7, 8 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. That could have been so much faster. Even the final sack was a bit slow.
Well, look at that from Caron. Brings it back, 46.92 seconds. Well, he's in the lead so far.
Well, it's just not that easy picking these anvils up. Slippy, heavy metal. Big frustration there for Bishop.
Event 1 proving something of a handful, and loads more drama to come as 3 more pairs of athletes take their turn at the grand final of the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man. Welcome back to Anna Maria Island in Bradenton, Florida, setting for this year's World's Strongest Man Grand Final. There's been plenty of drama so far in Event 1. Over to Michelle now, who's on the beach with the Beast.
Eddie, what a start to the final. We've had 2 Brits so far. Obviously, Luke did really well, didn't he, against Trey Mitchell. Bish put in a good effort as well, but sadly slipped on that anvil. What are your thoughts so far?
Well, Luke put in a fantastic effort, put in a blistering time. That could really put in contention for top 5. Unfortunately, Bish did slip on the anvil, and that hinders the chances of getting that top podium spot.
And coming up next, we've got Konstantin Janasha versus Tom Stoltman. I mean, those are two big guys.
Yeah, Janashi's a big guy, but Tom Stoltman is big. He's the best part of 7 foot. Our very own the Albatross is absolutely huge. He's got huge arms, huge legs. He can wrap around those implements a lot easier. The strides are less.
And of course, we've got a rematch from last year, haven't we, with Thor and Matthias. What's going to happen there?
Geez, I mean, last year they were 0.2 of a second apart on the medley, I believe. Thor is carrying a very bad foot injury right now. We don't even know if he's going to be able to even lift the fall implements. It's going to be really tough for Thor. I wish him the best of luck.
Oh, the tension. Right, let's get to the action. Colin and Danny, over to you.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Eddie.
Representing Georgia.
So we move on
Konstantin Janasha.
to the Georgian bull himself, Konstantin Janasha. His best finish was 4th place in 2016. But this is a man who has made the grand final in every World's Strongest Man he has competed in. He's one to watch. Tom Stoltman, the younger of the Stoltman brothers.
Stoltman.
A lot of people saying, you know, we could be looking at a future World's Strongest Man right here. Will this be his year? And there is his brother. And this, well, this is who they are.
But, you know, everyone can talk, oh, Tom Stoltman's the next big thing, but I have to step up and prove it, and I'm starting to prove it a wee bit now, so I'm just going to keep on working hard every year and prove, and yeah, if I don't win World's Strongest Man in the next 3 years, then I'll quit the sport. That's how confident I am.
Scotland as a nation, we've come from, you know, the warriors, the kind of brave heart, wearing clans, waving big claymores, and that's what I envision myself to be, you know, as a modern-day warrior, if you will. All I want is for the Stoltman name to be created as a legacy in Scotland. That's my aim. When people say that name, Stoltman, they think of strength and strongman. But it's not just about myself and Tom. I want to be able to pass it on to, you know, future generations. It's about the guys that are kind of 3, 4, 5-year-olds watching us on TV and maybe installing something in them to, you know, think, wait a minute, I mean, these guys are 5 miles down the road from me. Why can't I do that?
My dad's out here today, and hopefully me and Luke can put on a show for him and take something back very memorable. Like, we lost my mum, it was hard for everyone, but my old man's the nicest, most loving guy in the world, just like my mum was, so emotional talking about it. But yeah, my dad's just, I think he's the real strong man here out of everyone, you know. Having him here and my mum on our shoulder and above us is going to be special, like, so very special.
Well, they are legends in the making Scotland proud, and they're off.
Well, are there any big nerves here for Tom? I'm sure there are. First grand final. And of course, he's up against one of the most experienced men in Janasha, who is not so quick on the anvil. Tom Stoltman, he's got a shift on.
Well, this is great work from Tom Stoltman. Now, the sacks, as you say, just a dead weight, but look at the height of this guy.
Those massive mitts, those size 19 shoes, almost like snowshoes in the sand.
Well, he's got a length on Janasha. What can he do with it? 46.92 is what he has to beat. Laid down by Caron. Well, look at that, hands off. Looked to be around 39 or so. What about Janasha?
Oh, almost looks pedestrian compared to Tom Stoltman, but it was good.
46.97 for Janasha, 39.66 for Tom Stoltman, and he takes the lead.
Put your hands together for Konstantin Janasha.
Well, just under 47 seconds for the Georgian, who started fast, but wow, on the second implement, Tom Stoltman just hoiked it straight off the ground, one motion.
On to Lissis then.
Representing the United States.
Well, his old enemy, the Anvil. Gets a bit of a look there. Well, Lissis, always a crowd favourite, because he's always a crowd pleaser. Finished 4th past 2 years. This was the moment He dropped the anvil during last year's loading race, which cost him a top 3 finish.
Brian Shaw.
And then the 4-time World's Strongest Man champion, 2011, 2013, 2015, 2016. Will it be 2019? He wants to equal Pudzianowski's 5 wins.
Ready?
Well, with only 5 events in the final, it's got to start right here for Brian Shaw. He's so big. Does he have the fitness? Well, Lissus, we knew he'd be agile and quick. There's the anvil.
No problem this year. Not yet, anyway.
Well, he carried it a little awkwardly, but gambled again, but it paid off this time. Now then, this is where Shaw should come into his own. These huge sacks, but he's so big, he'll handle them all the easier.
39.66, the time to beat, laid down by Tom Stoltman. Not going to happen with Lissus, however.
Could be second best if he gets his hands off.
And he does. Around about the 44 mark. And then Brian Shaw.
Oof, just under 49 seconds. Oh, Magnus Ver Magnusson, the head referee now. 4 times world's strongest man himself. I can remember him saying, always finish in the top 5 in an event. I don't think Shaw will do that here.
But Lissus takes second place so far, 43.81 seconds.
And Shaw, well, he's just such a big mammal, isn't he? I know we're all mammals, but
he's a big one.
He's a big one, all right.
Representing Poland.
On then to a hugely exciting competitor. Kieliszkowski came second last year in the grand final. And you have to ask sometimes, is there nothing he can't do? So powerful, explosive, incredibly fast. There is one thing he can't do, I have noticed, and that is smile. So he'll be taking on the reigning world's strongest man, Hafthor Julius Bjornsson. They faced off on the loading race last year, and this is a man, well, he's really not going to let anything stand in his way.
From the 2018 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, Hafthor Julius Bjornsson!
After I won, it gave me kind of freedom in my heart, and I feel a lot better this year, feel a lot more confident. Of course, I want to win this title more than anything, and I believe I want to win it more than anyone else. I'm obsessed with being the best I can be. I'm willing to do what it takes, you know. I want to say, like, I take it to another level. At least I feel like that.
Well, the one problem he might have is a slight foot injury.
Yes, indeed, his left foot, a plantar fascia tear has caused him a lot of pain.
See the Stoltman brothers there, keenly watching this. Because if neither Kieliszkowski or Bjornsson can beat Stoltman the youngest time, he'll get his first event win.
Oh! Hafthor Bjornsson, the same error that Bishop made. It's so slippy, this anvil. And Kieliszkowski, wow, can he capitalize? Can he get close to Tom Stoltman's 39.66?
Well, that is a big mistake there from Bjornsson. First sack down for Kieliszkowski.
He's huffing and puffing. He's so big, Bjornsson, 200 kilos, like we saw with Shaw. Oh!
Well, look at this. It looks like Jens Stoltman will have his first event win. Kieliszkowski looks set to be second.
And Hafthor.
Well, Hafthor's mistake there, and the Stoltman boys, they know it.
I think he's at the back of a cluster. He is.
Representing Iceland.
48.17 seconds for the current reigning world's strongest man.
Representing Poland.
Kieliszkowski makes it to second.
Kieliszkowski.
Still no smile. 42.11 seconds.
Well, 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 what a start. Hafthor looked really quick. The foot didn't bother him. But that anvil caused him massive problems as he pulled it off the ground. Once again, tried to get the transition, but grasped too early.
This doesn't look good for Bjornsson.
your winner of the loading
Stoltman,
race,
the younger,
representing Great
takes
Britain,
the first
Tom
event
Stoltman.
win. And it's British. And more specifically, Scottish.
What a start for Tom Stoltman, the only athlete in this grand final to get a sub-40-second time. And just look at the names he's beaten there. The Albatross already taking flight. He's with Michelle.
Tom, that was incredible. You just flew through that, and not only have you beaten Matthias, also Thor in the first round, in the final. How are you feeling?
That's the best way to start it. Loading's one of my specialities as well, like stones, and I was confident going into it. I've got the recovery, I've got the conditioning, so yeah, it's another one of my favourite events, and to beat Thor in the likes of Killakoski, that's a dream start, and hopefully it continues. So.
Can't wait to see what happens next. Thanks, Tom.
Cheers, thank you very much. Cheers.
Keep winning, Tom!
While the crowd roared their support, some of strongman's biggest names now have some real thinking to do. Coming up, it's event 2, the overhead press medley, featuring a Brian and Hap Thor showdown. That's next on World's Strongest Man. Welcome back to Bradenton, Florida, where amid the laid-back surroundings, event 1 of the grand final of this year's World's Strongest Man has brought some real surprises. Tom Stoltman, who was delighted to even make the final, has won event 1 to take an early lead. There's an incredible field of champions behind him, but with former winners like Shaw and Bjornsson currently way down the pecking order, could we be in for a major upset? What a success to start Tom's quest, but there's no time to rest, because up next is the overhead press. Let's hear more from a man in a vest.
Thanks, James. Up next is the overhead press medley. First up, 2 60-kilo dumbbells to the shoulders, press above the head, wait for the down signal. Then they've got to go across to a 100-kilo circus dumbbell to the shoulder, one arm only, press above the head, wait for the down signal, and then they've got a choice between a 170-kilo log and a 160-kilo circus barbell. Now this, 15 years ago, was a world record. Now they've got 60 seconds to complete all 4 implements, but they're also going head-to-head against the opposition, which can put you off quite a bit, but that's strongman. Good luck to the guys, over to the commentators.
Thanks, Eddie. Yes. Well, not just an overhead press, but a whole medley of it. Double dumbbell, circus barbell, and a log. Adam Bishop, currently second in the overhead press, managed 3, just over 36 seconds. But Trey Mitchell III managed them all in 54.55. So we join the action.
United States' own Brian Shaw.
With that aforementioned Shaw Bjornsson face-off.
Representing Iceland, Hafthor, Julius
Shaw versus Bjornsson. It doesn't get any juicier. Well, I bet a lot of fans didn't think they'd be watching 8th versus 7th in the second event. That's a surprise.
54.55 to beat. And that's a fast start.
Wow, manhandled those light 60-kilo dumbbells. Now the big boy.
Yeah, Shaw seems to be going for the circus barbell, the lighter of the 2 implements, building up towards the log. Gets that. Thor, though, starting on the log. And for a little relaxation, moves to the circus barbell. It's neck and neck. Shaw takes it. And Bjornsson just behind him. Fast time as well.
Wow.
Put your hands together for Iceland.
Thor was a bit poor with the circus dumbbell. He made up for it in the circus barbell, but didn't quite get Shaw. Didn't quite get him.
Well, the new leader in this event, 30.48 seconds for Brian Shaw.
This was them. Exactly the same time. You can see absolutely Shaw got it. Not very much. Bjornsson, mistakes on the dumbbell. Just seemed a little lackadaisical.
Representing Great Britain, Luke Stoltman.
On to Luke Stoltman then. Currently 6th.
Representing
Up against
Georgia, Konstantin
Janashia.
Janashia.
Gosh, I thought Luke's run in the opening medley would have got him higher than 6th. Of course, Tom's the leader. So Luke, who is a great presser on the right-hand side here, needs to capitalise on this, perhaps his best event. Ginashia, of course, on the left. The Georgian, oh my goodness. I was about to say is a tremendous presser too, but he's hurt himself.
Well, this is not good for Ginashia. Stoltman has to keep focused, has to move on. Circus Barbell is done. 30.48 to beat.
A little wobbly at the top. He's got to nail this in one hit. And he's not beaten the 2 big boys.
Can't quite lock out. Give it another go.
Come on, Luke, don't run out of energy.
20 seconds, Luke. 20 seconds.
Ginashia not in a good way at all. 10 seconds, Luke.
10 seconds.
Did he just go too hard too early? Give it a hit. This is it. One shot.
That's Stoltman. When the tongue comes out, it spells victory.
Stoltman.
It's a great way of telling if he's got a cold as well. Ginashia, though, well, this is terrible news.
Isn't it just? Goodness. Well, let's have a look here. Luke
may have given himself concussion there.
Yeah, they were almost too light. Smashed off his head. He pulled him up so hard. And it appears a tricep injury for Ginashia has ended his WSM. This is the moment it happened, Danny, on a big circus dumbbell. He didn't have it quite in position. Maybe even slipped on a sweaty shoulder.
So up next, in that hat, very much the style icon of World's Strongest Man, Martins Licis. Very enigmatic, fun character.
So the entertaining quality of mine is always by accident. I just go out there with a purpose to look out to the crowd, appreciate them, make sure that they know that I am here because of them, and I wouldn't be otherwise. I'm finally fresh, stronger than I've ever been, heavier than I've ever been, and more ready than I've ever been. My absolute focus out there is to win, to show my fans I love them, and to tear it apart.
As long as he doesn't tear them apart,
United States,
that would contravene several health and safety guidelines. But he's a gentle giant.
Representing Canada, JF Caron.
And he's up against the Canadian, JF Caron.
Ready?
Caron on the right-hand side, Licis for the US on the left, and well, the American ahead of the Canadian right now. Licis really good at this circus dumbbell.
Up it goes, it's good. Takes the log first. 30.48 to beat. No problem. On to the circus barbell.
That should be easy for Licis. He's great at Olympic weightlifting.
Well, look at that. We have a new leader, we know that.
30 seconds.
And Caron still got the log to go.
Well, I personally would have gone for the log first. It's the heavier one. It can slip off your chest when you're sweaty. And does Caron have this in the tank?
He does. And you're right, Colin, I too would have gone for the log, of course.
Well, you always were a good log presser, Danny.
Thank you. Great performance from both men.
Representing Canada,
Caron, 48.29 seconds. He's in fourth, but of course, Licis
your new leader in the
takes the lead with an extraordinary time of 27.94 seconds.
The United States, Martins Licis.
I don't think you could do a pair of 60-kilo dumbbells any quicker than Licis did.
Representing Poland, Mateusz
Well, here he is.
Koski.
Is he human? Was he sent from the future?
Representing Great
Koski
Britain,
up against
Tom Stoltman.
the brilliant Tom Stoltman, leading after one event. Wants it to stay that way.
No, Tom Stoltman on the left, so tall, does not always translate to such a good presser.
Wow.
What was that all about?
Well, from both men, just extraordinary. How easy is this? Well, Kieliszkowski goes straight for the heaviest implement, the log.
Oh!
Wow! Does not even use his chest, just goes straight up the barbell.
This is what they do in the 22nd century. Here we go.
Up it goes, there it stays. An incredible time from Kieliszkowski. Stoltman takes on the log and wins now. How will he do for time here? Where will it place him?
That was a bit goofy. He's got to get to his shoulders and one big clean hit with the legs.
Come on, Tom. Up it goes.
Oh!
He's done it. But it's a good time, but it'll cost him, whereas Kieliszkowski, 46.2 seconds for Stoltman, takes him to 5th place in this event.
I think that's a great result for him, to
the
be honest.
winner of your overhead press, representing Poland.
I'm not sure he was pressing at times. He was doing weird movements. It was unbelievable.
It was. 23.86 seconds. No smile, though.
What was this all about? He just snatched it off the floor. Incredible. And then he does it again with the log. It's like a quantum leap forward in pressing.
Mateusz blasting through event 2 4 seconds faster than his nearest rival, Martins Lissis. He picks up the win, and Michel is with him now.
Mateusz, explosive power on the overhead press just there. That was incredible.
It's just my best event, so I know I never lose this event. So.
And your technique on the log was just perfect, wasn't it?
Well, I practice this every time. It's 170 kilos. It's also heavy, so we can do very fast this.
Well, you're in a good position, so good luck.
Thank you.
A very good position. Mateusz indeed moving into 1st place overall ahead of Lissis and Tom Stoltman, who's still in the podium positions. Thor and Brian Shaw are tied in 5th, 8 points behind Kieliszkowski. The big pole on a roll and beginning to pull clear of the pack. Martins Lissis and Tom Stoltman are close behind, though, and those 3 men will soon be separated by squat, because that's what's up next on the World's Strongest Man Grand Final. Welcome back, everyone, to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, where we're really getting into the swing of things. Eddie, you talked about Tom Stoltman as a winner of this competition, potentially. What did you make of his performance in the opening event, then?
Oh, just as I expected. You know, the guy's 6'9", huge strides, so young, athletic, powerful. The way he one motion that anvil to his chest, I've never seen anyone do that before. Very explosive, very impressive from Tom.
What about the technique of Kieliszkowski, then, in the second event, the overhead press medley?
What can I say? It was perfect. Everything he did was one motion, no mistakes. The way he one motion that log press from the floor straight to overhead, it was just lightning speed. I couldn't fault it whatsoever.
He's like a machine, isn't he? He's now 2 points ahead of Lissis in the standings, with Tom Stoltman in the mix as well, only 1 point further back in 3rd. Time now for the guys to make like us and do squat. It's over to Michel.
Thanks, guys. Yes, we're about to see our athletes getting down strongman style this festive season. They'll have 75 seconds to squat an epic 340-kilogram weight as many times as possible. That's basically like having 2 Eddie Halls on your back, if you dare imagine that. It's not for the faint-hearted. Colin, Danny, over to you.
Well, thank you very much. I've actually got 2 Eddie Halls on my back right now. Nice to see David Hasselhoff. And it is the squat lift. As Michel said, rules are pretty simple. How many times can you lift that? And can you lift it more than anyone else? Trey Mitchell III, he went first. He managed 6 reps. But JF Caron inched it with 7. He's currently in the lead. And we join the action with Adam Bishop.
Needs a big event here, Bish. He's not the biggest man. In fact, he's the lightest man in the final. But he's got a big heart, and he is a very good squatter. He will not want to let himself down here. Shoney just touching the pads. He's got to be careful. Some guys actually use it almost like a ricochet, a bounce. And he's being quite slow. Oh, he got warned there from Magnus Bear for just touching one side. You can't do that.
7 to beat. Not allowed that one.
Yeah, that was a clear miss. Bad mistake.
That would have cost him energy. That one good, though. Has to maintain his focus. Well, I don't know about that. Not allowed, he's going to drop it. And he's out the way. Well, he manages 5. Well, what happened there, Colin?
2 disallowed. I mean, he did 7 reps. Only just missed 2 of them. That's how close, goodness. Some people drop in, others are very deliberate. He clearly is a deliberate squatter and couldn't feel the padding. Now, Luke Stoltman, big legs.
Being watched by his brother and by Bish.
Very narrow squatter, narrow stance. Of course, that's come from his bodybuilding years where they really go slowly up and down. That's how he's built those enormous quads. Ooh! Almost missed there as well. There we go, getting a little bit of a bounce on there. If you can time it just right, you can hit the pad and get a kick back up again.
Well, he did then. Let's see if he's doing it again.
Yep. He's hitting the rhythm for sure.
It's taking him a little time to get used to this, hasn't it?
This is such a crushing weight. It's off.
Well, the tongue came out, signalling the end of the event.
As ever.
The Luke Stoltman manages 5, same as Bish.
I think he can finish happy there. He did 5 reps. He was good for 5 reps and no more. He was beaten by the weight. Bish, of course, his 2 were disallowed, and that's why he's drawn with Luke here. Yeah, he was absolutely beaten by the weight. There was no mistiming, no equipment letdowns there.
Tom Stoltman.
Well, will Tom have learned a little something there?
I mean, you just wonder how a man so tall can squat. He's not exactly a squat figure, you know. He's very long and lean, but he's tough. Goodness.
It's a long way to go for him.
Isn't it? Just those long thigh bones. Don't exactly fit in a sports car. This is very impressive for a man over 6'8" tall. Well, he might not have been renowned for his squatting before, but he is now. Raki wants them just to help him back in. He's had enough.
Well, very good there from Stoltman. 6'8".
What about 6'6" now after that crushing weight?
Well, both Stoltmans and Bish are with Michelle now.
Chaps, how you doing? I thought I'd catch up with our Brits. How's the final going so far?
Yeah, it's just good, you know. It's really hot today in Florida. Tom just got a PB there, amazing. And yeah, I'm quite happy with my result as well. I've got 5 reps, so we're all tied. So yeah, it's all good. Yeah,
a really solid performance. Yeah. Feeling the same, Bish?
Yeah, I mean, I made a mistake on the first event, which kind of set me back a wee bit, but happy to get on the squat and get 5 reps. You know, they were all too polite, us Brits were too polite, we didn't want to beat each other, so everyone getting 5 reps all together is quite nice, isn't it? So.
That's very typical of the British mentality, isn't it? Yeah. And you're saying for Tom, that was a PB for you?
Yeah, I wanted 1, so 5's a bonus. So.
You wanted 1 5? Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was good. I'm just working hard and trying to keep up with the big boys, having fun doing it with these 2 boys as well. So we're representing Britain as best as we can. So.
You know what? It's so nice to see you 3 guys together, supporting each other. It's just brilliant. So well done. Keep it up. We're rooting for you. Thank you.
Representing Iceland.
On to Hafthor.
Julius Bjornsson.
The mountain. Of course, he is the strongest man in the world.
Well, for a little bit longer anyway, we shall see. Brian's got a keen eye on it. Now, he's done a powerlifting contest for the first time recently. Look at that. He's well in control, comfortable with the weight, but he got a little goofy there.
Oh.
Almost too comfortable. Lent too far forward. He's got to respect the weight, Hafthor.
Now, that slight stagger only serving to remind him to keep his composure. 4 reps so far, 7 to beat.
You've got to remember, this just does not act like a normal bar with weights on it in a gym. The ends do not spin.
Well, he's... Oh! Wow. There's no need to make a fuss.
If he's not going to win, he's going to wreck the place.
Now,
I think he was just feeling faint there. A little bit of a near blackout, and he bailed.
wow.
You see what's underneath the T-shirt? This tight suit just keeps all of their, for want of a better word, their guts tight in to keep their back protected, because when you stagger forward like he did, you could really do yourself an injury. And that can cause a little bit of winding.
Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man winner, representing the United States, Brian.
Well, having watched that, Brian Shaw now, 4-time World's Strongest Man. Again, nipping at the heels of Pudzianowski. Looking to equal that today.
Yes, he wants to be known as the greatest of all time, Brian Shaw, and boy, oh boy, does he slowly find depth. He too looks totally in control. He's shouting to his friend there, help me out. How close am I to the bottom? Because it's such a crushing weight, they can't feel the pads necessarily.
Just maintaining that balance is hard enough. But look at this, very, very strong performance, measured.
Well, this is considerably heavier than 2 years ago when he last did it, and he ran out of time.
Well,
60 seconds he squatted for.
Well, it's this to take the lead, and it's his.
How much more then, Brian Shaw? Keeps him going slow and steady. Oh, he just rocked forward there.
Oh, starting to wobble, and down it goes. Well, 8 reps for Brian Shaw. Puts him in the lead so far, sends a message to Lissis and Kieliszkowski, but look, I wonder where he's off to.
Your new leader in the squat lift with 8 reps.
About to take out the hoarding, I think. So much pressure on these guys.
Yeah, and from the look of it, like Hafthor, experience just let him know he was soon to black out, enough was enough. And he's with Eddie now.
Well, thanks, Danny. I'm with the new leader of the squat lift, Brian Shaw. Brian, man, that was phenomenal, 8 reps. I know you've done a lot more in the past, but with this blistering heat, we've done 2 events already. How was that?
Yeah, it felt a little bit tougher today. I think the weight is a little bit heavier, but like you said, I think the heat's kind of taking it out of the guys. I'm a little...
Yeah, man, it's pouring out of you.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah.
But whatever, I mean, right now, you know how these contests go. It's a long contest, and you gotta put up solid performances. I think, unfortunately, I left the door open there a little bit, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Brian, of course. Put it there, man.
Awesome.
Good luck.
Love you, buddy.
Love you, man. Back to the action, guys.
Thanks very much. And has he left the door open for Lissis to walk through?
Well, Lissis has world records in certain squat movements. Let's see if he can do it in this circus barbell.
I get the feeling he's going a little too fast.
It's very explosive, though. He almost needs that to hit the bottom and fire out of it. It's just how his body is. He's not a huge man like Shaw or Bjornsson.
Oh, that was wrong. Look at this. 7 reps.
If he stays in that groove, there's a couple more here, perhaps.
Well, he's good. 9. So he takes the lead. And Shaw was right. He did perhaps leave that door open, and he knows it.
Yeah, and he's come rushing through, Lissis. 1 rep ahead of Shaw. Now, I wonder whether he knows Kieliszkowski isn't as good a squatter. Because he stopped there. He stopped at 9, 1 ahead of Shaw.
Your new leader in the squat lift with 9 reps.
Well, 1 man left to go.
Martins Lici.
Will they be able to beat the 9 reps of Lissis? It's Kieliszkowski's job.
Kieliszkowski.
I hope they've met.
A few slaps just to wake him up to the job. He's been brilliant in the first 2 events. A little consoling there from Brian's wee boy. As Kieliszkowski gets on with the job. Oh, he looks a little shaky in the core.
Yes, it's unusual to see anything other than confidence on his face.
Nice. He too has now gotten the groove. He's using the bounce well. He's gambled and it's working. If you hit one of those sides before the other, though, this could go very badly wrong.
Up to 7. Oh, you can see the effort on his face.
The more you drop, the more you'll get out of it. Ooh, he got it wrong there.
This could be the end of that, and it is. 7 reps for Kieliszkowski.
With 7 reps in the squat lift.
He smiles so rarely anyway.
Kieliszkowski.
I think he'll be pretty happy with that, you know.
He's not. He's never happy.
I think that's ecstatic.
Well, when I say he's never happy, what I mean is he is his own worst critic. He can never do well enough for himself. And all of that means that Lissis takes the event.
Martins Licis.
Yes, you just said that.
Our third event and our third event winner. Enter the Dragon. Lissis bagging maximum points and dealing Brian Shaw a real blow. Thor, Caron and Kieliszkowski sharing third there. All of that means a swap at the top as Lissis moves into pole by just 1 point from Kieliszkowski, while Brian Shaw climbs past Tom Stoltman into third. Michelle is with our new overall leader.
Martins, you were really getting the support from the crowd here. Does that help to spur you on?
Of course it does. I mean, it just came out of nowhere, so I'm a little bit just shook by that. It's amazing.
You know what? You really seem to be enjoying this.
This is what I live for. I was born to do this.
You absolutely will. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
While Martin smiles, there's furrowed brows for others here in Bradenton. And what's coming up may not help much as we bust out the speedsters once again for a monster deadlift hold. That's next on World's Strongest Man. Welcome back to Bradenton on Florida's West Coast. 2 events to go now in the 2019 World's Strongest Man Grand Final, and for the 9 remaining athletes up next, it's the deadlift hold. It's a battle with their own personal pain thresholds. Speaking of which, here's Colin and Danny.
Well, we'll get through it somehow, James. So it's the deadlift hold. You lift up one of these speedsters, but how long can you do it for? Currently in third position, with 23.28 seconds, Trey Mitchell. Then it was Adam Bishop, managed 36.69. But currently in the lead, you might expect JF Caron. Such a good deadlifter, such a good grip, 38.57 seconds.
Representing Great Britain, Luke Stoltman.
So Luke Stoltman, currently tied 7th, will go up against, well, his tiny little brother, Tom Stoltman, who is gunning for that podium. The local superhero, the Scarlet Ninja.
Wow. Fascinating to see whether there's some brotherly psychology here. Older brother, no, Tom's just looking down at the floor, eyes shut. Luke, I think he'd be happy to engage in a little bit of brotherly banter, but Tom's having none of it. Now this is so heavy, 20 seconds, everyone's got the big shake on. He's looking up to see how Big Brother's doing. He's hanging on well enough.
Well, Tom, first to go, but first to give encouragement to his brother, as always. And Luke manages 35.74 seconds.
Comes up short of Caron there.
Representing Great Britain,
and Bishop.
the Stoltmans.
Well, the plural is Stoltmen.
You know what? I don't think that's a good result for Tom. Oh, I think his podium chances may well have been slipping out of his grasp there.
Mateusz Kieliszkowski.
Kieliszkowski then. And no mean opponent for him.
Hathor Julius Bjornsson.
This should be fascinating. Hathor has done very well in Hercules hold this year. Now this man's got a great grip too. He's still to come. As for Kieliszkowski, if he had one weakness, this might be it as well as his deadlift. 2 weaknesses.
So 320 kilos. How long can they hold it for?
Well, they're not engaging in eyeballing each other. It's just too painful. It's a horrible, horrible feeling. Your arms are being pulled out of your shoulders, and you're making it happen.
Kieliszkowski stealing a glance at Bjornsson, trying to see if there's any weakness there.
Bjornsson looking a little more serene. Kieliszkowski's in a world of hurt.
Oh, nearly went, fought it, but lost. 35.72 for Kieliszkowski. Well, that will give a little encouragement to Bjornsson.
Wow!
45.29 for Bjornsson. What a result.
Maybe he does want this more than anyone. He said that. And that was real mind over matter stuff there. Kieliszkowski ahead of Tom Stoltman, though. Crucially, in 5th so far. Big Bjornsson takes the lead.
Well, this is his secret weapon there. That's Odd Haugen, the Norwegian. They call him the Gripmaster. He has been coaching Lissis. Anything you need to grip, you talk to Odd. He'll tell you exactly how to grip it. And he'll be up against Brian Shaw. Honestly, Colin, jam jars, a slippy fire extinguisher. You talk to Odd Haugen. Lissis did, and this will hopefully give him an advantage.
Lissis. Ready! How much do you want this? It's old guard against new guard. Looking over at his mum, who's cheering him on from the side. A little smile there. Now, was that for Brian's benefit? Is he actually in a lot of pain?
Well, Brian, perspiring madly, but unshakable at this moment, apart from the slight shakes.
Yes, indeed. 30 seconds!
Well, look at that. Shaw down. That's a huge surprise. But again, a boost for Lissis. He wants to know how long he's been doing this and what he has to beat. He's bearing down on Bjornsson's time, but no. 41.25.
That is bad news for the Big Shaw.
Bradenton, let's hear it for Martin.
Well, he did enough to take second place. 41.25 seconds for Lissis. Of course, what happened with Brian Shaw there, that's the big shock. He blames his sweaty hands. And Michelle is with the winner of the deadlift hold now.
Thor, you're absolutely fantastic in that event. What was going through your mind just to keep holding it up?
You know, I'm here to fight, and it's not over, it's over, but it's been a rough first couple of events for me. But, you know, I'm very happy with this win, and I'm just going to keep fighting and do as best as I can. You know, everything is possible, and next event is Stones, and, you know, I always have to win that event and just hope that some guys come between, I think.
Fingers crossed, good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
A phenomenal display from Thor, but look who's right behind him, Lissis, who's been in the top 3 in every event so far. Adam Bishop, the best of the Brits, in 4th, Kieliszkowski only 6th. So with one event to go, Lissis is now 5 points clear of Kieliszkowski. Will he hold his nerve? Behind those two, Bjornsson is still in range, but facing a battle for his podium spot from JF Caron. Tom Stoltman, the best of the Brits, in 6th. Just one event remains then, and for someone, a moment awaits that they'll remember for the rest of their days. Who will be crowned the 2019 World's Strongest Man? Find out next. Welcome back. It's almost time. The 2019 World's Strongest Man Grand Final reaches its climax. 9 men, 9 dreams, 5 stones. And to take us through it, the one and only Colin and Danny.
Yes, the marquee event. Essentially a ton of stones. Trey Mitchell III, he went on his own and proved why he deserved to be here.
Representing Great Britain.
We move on, though, to a battle of the Brits. And Adam Bishop up against Luke Stoltman. They're not booing, they're shouting Luke, just so you know.
Ready?
And they're off.
This should be very interesting. Both men very evenly matched in the stones. Perhaps Stoltman on the left, a little bit taller. He's probably pipped Bishop more than he's pipped him, and a fumble on the third by Bish.
Well, Stoltman moving ahead.
Not exactly getting to grips with that. It's 200 kilograms. Normally the finisher in the final. This is the heaviest set ever. Bish grabs his chance.
Wow, doesn't quite take it. Leaves it open now for Stoltman.
Well, if it ends like this, Stoltman was the faster on the three. Bish certainly looks finished, doesn't he?
Bishop.
Well, Bishop manages 3 in 19.42 seconds, but just ahead of him, Stoltman. 3 in 16.07 seconds. Currently second men in this event.
Yes, indeed. The big Texan doing all 5 shows you how impressive he was. Well done, though, to Luke and Adam, WSM finalists.
Great Britain, Tom
On to Tom Stoltman then. Just 2 points behind Brian Shaw.
The United States, Brian Shaw.
So this could be big, Colin.
Well, in many ways, there's a lot more for Tom to gain out of this than Brian Shaw. Shaw used to be known as the King of the Stones, perhaps that title held by Hapthor these days, but Tom Stoltman, well, he could have a claim for that. He's brilliant at them. This is a great chance to show it.
Really is. Just his height there, helping him, as you say, Colin, these stones heavier than ever. Oh, yes, manages it.
Brian's catching, though. He was a bit slow and cumbersome on the first couple, but the big man is back.
Well, a fumble from Shaw.
Can he do it?
He does. Well, this is big from Stoltman. Brian Shaw finishes as well.
Your current leader.
Well, what a test. The heaviest set ever, suitable. But it's just about the biggest, heaviest grand final ever. Very impressive from Tom. He can mix it with the biggest of the big boys.
39.82 from Brian Shaw. And at one point, we weren't sure about Stoltman, were we?
No, I thought Shaw had caught him. His cool head was going to do it, but not at all. A fumble. And Stoltman grabbed his chance.
So Jeff Caron.
Representing Iceland, Hapthor Julius.
Up against a man so hard to beat, psychologically as well.
And finishing well, winning the last event, the hold. And this, the Stones. He is the King of the Stones. Surely he's going to do all 5 of these. Can Stoltman, though, just maybe pick off Caron, bumping him down to his usual 5th place? It's possible.
Well, Bjornsson, as usual, just making it look like he's tidying up a playroom.
Just so big, it's so much easier for him. Here we go, 210 kilos.
There it is. And what a time from Hafthor Julius Bjornsson.
Well, we've seen Caron struggle on the 5th stone before in the grand final. Now it's heavier. A big, big moment for him. He really needs this.
Bjornsson working the crowd, getting the crowd behind Caron. It works, and he's done it.
I think that has cemented Caron 4th overall, 5th in the Atlas Stones. And we still have a pair to go. And I have to say, Hafthor Bjornsson taking this very sportingly. He knows he's lost his crown. It's going to be one of the next 2 that win it.
Just a fierce and mighty man.
Well, he could be proud of that finish. He fought to the end.
Well, Kieliszkowski currently in 2nd place. Up against crowd favourite Lissis. It's going to be between these 2. Hello to you.
Marty's little brother and his mum. His mum looking very emotional. And if this was some kind of mathematical graph, Lissis is definitely on the up and up. But can Kieliszkowski turn the tide here?
Lissis just nipping ahead now.
Looking confident. That was so high, so easy from Lissis.
On to the last stone. Martins, Lissis, and with this, he becomes the world's strongest man, and in style. He wins the Atlas Stone and the competition overall. Kieliszkowski does very well also.
A little kiss to the stone from Kieliszkowski. He's happy this is over. I think the pressure was getting to him. He'll take the silver medal, but the new golden boy, Martins Licis, the world's strongest man.
That's a happy mum. And look at this from Bjornsson. I mean, this is a true changing of the guard moment. And a stark contrast to last year as well. Just the brotherhood here. And Tom Stoltman at 5th finishes our leading Brit, but right now it's all about Martins Licis, and that was the moment that this man became the world's strongest man.
Wow.
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 World's strongest man.
That happened.
How do those worlds feel to you?
Surreal, dude. I don't know if I'm dreaming right now. What's going on, everybody?
Good, man. You've got your mum and dad here. Your little brother, come in. Man, I see some tears in their eyes. Two proud parents here right now. Two very proud parents. Martins, you said you were going to go out in style. You said you were going to go for the Atlas Stones, and you ended up winning the Atlas Stones, the king of the Stones, as well as World's Strongest Man.
That's the way to do it. Just got to clock in for my next day at work.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2019 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, Martins Delicious! Yeah! Come on, get in for a hug. Come on, get in there.
Well, you can't say he doesn't deserve it. Just a wonderful moment for the Lissis family. But let's not forget about our Brits. Michelle's with them now.
Well, this is nice, isn't it?
It's cozy, yeah.
Very cozy. Guys, I must say, I think the three of you have absolutely made this competition this year. You've all had epic performances, but not only that, the friendship between the three of you has just been so incredible to watch. How are you all feeling at the end of this journey?
Yeah, tired and sore, but to share kind of the World's Strongest Man final with these two gents is fantastic. So yeah, really, really happy.
I mean, the focus, the determination from you has been amazing to watch as well. But I have to say, you've all had a smile on your face too. You've seemed as happy as Larry, Luke.
I'm just a big happy dafty from Scotland, so yeah, I mean, I love doing this. I've said that I feel I belong on the stage. Competing in this sport, this is something I'm really passionate about, so we're just buzzing, really buzzing, yeah.
And Tom was actually the best finishing Brit. Tom, anything to say about that?
That was obvious, wasn't it? I didn't really care where I placed in the final today. I just battled to the end, and yeah, I must be the best in Britain now then, you know. So.
Well said.
We'll soon see you.
We'll see you in January, eh? We'll see you in January.
Competition starts again, eh?
But at least I'm still the strongest in my family, so that Luke.
Meow. All smiles then for our British trio, with the stronger Stoltman finishing his campaign in style, taking 3rd in the Stones. But number 1 there, Martins Licis, the charismatic Californian, thus sealing his first World's Strongest Man title. Kieliszkowski again in 2nd place, and last year's champion Hafthor Julius Bjornsson making up the podium.
All right, congratulations to our champion, Martins Licis!
And that wraps things up here in the Florida sunshine. From the whole Channel 5 team, we hope you've enjoyed our coverage, and our heartiest congratulations to all the athletes. Some rose, some fell in this fierce week in Florida, but all of them fought in the friendliest of fashions. We'll see you soon.